Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? It's your boy, The Doc, and we are back with another injury update video. This time, it's 5 injuries that you need to know about for your fantasy team in Week 5. Let's jump into it. Before we jump into the names, I'm just going to preface by saying that I'm not talking about Malik Nabers or Tyreek Hill in this video. They both have torn ACLs. They are droppable in redraft. If you're curious about what my thoughts are for them heading into next year, maybe if you're playing Dynasty or you're thinking about keeping them, I encourage you to go watch my ACL video from the summer where I go into what you can expect from guys coming back from ACL tears. And you can probably wait. I'm sure I'll be talking about them heading into next year as well. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them in this video, but just know, obviously, I'm aware that Malik Nabers and Tyreek Hill tore their ACLs, and that sucks for fantasy, but it's not really something that I want to talk about in too much detail today. Let's start with Lamar Jackson and his hamstring strain. Now, at first, I didn't think that the Ravens quarterback had a major issue. I thought they were just pulling him from the game because it was out of reach. The Chiefs are already up by a couple touchdowns. It didn't seem like it was likely that they would come back, so they pulled him. But now I'm starting to think that this actually was a serious issue for Lamar Jackson. They're saying that it could be a serious hamstring injury, something that will cost him multiple weeks potentially. Now, the team does have a bye in Week 7, and it is possible that we just don't see Lamar Jackson until after that bye. This could be the start of a season from hell for the Ravens if Lamar Jackson is not able to come back quickly. They have a huge hole that they need to dig out of. Now let's talk about another injury coming out of Week 4 that was kind of a surprise to me, and that's Buccaneers running back Bucky Irving dealing with what the team is calling a foot injury. This was kind of a surprise because I didn't really see any injuries happen in this game, and the video that I've been shown a few times of where this may have happened looked like at most a mild ankle sprain. So I'm kind of surprised that they're calling it a foot issue, and it's really kind of a bummer because Bucky Irving had firmly planted himself in the top 5 running back discussion after his performance in Week 4. So the team is considering this a week-to-week issue. That is a little concerning, but I don't believe that he will end up being placed on IR with this. If he does, you are talking about waiting until after the team's Week 9 bye to get Bucky Irving back, which is not really ideal for fantasy. But again, I think there's just as good a chance that he plays this week as he doesn't. So this isn't considered serious. It's not something that I'm really raising the alarms on. We're probably going to get a week or two of Rachaad White being more of the bell cow in the Buccaneers backfield. Now, I know this is the injury update show, and most of the time I'm talking about bad news, but let's talk about some good news for once, and that's quarterback Jayden Daniels coming back from his knee sprain that cost him the last 2 weeks. I think he steps right back into top 12 quarterback conversations, especially with 4 teams on bye this week. Now, I can't say that I'm not a little worried that his rushing production will be affected by this knee injury, but I doubt that anyone is going to make a compelling case for why you should sit him in fantasy. This should give everyone on the team a little bit of a boost, but Deebo Samuel with Terry McLaurin out and Zach Ertz both seem to benefit the most from Jayden Daniels coming back. Now, the last 2 guys on the list are not as big of names in fantasy circles, but they do have major fantasy implications. First up, we got Browns at wide receiver Cedric Tillman dealing with a hamstring strain being put on IR. Now, the Browns losing Tillman hurts them as a team overall. He was operating as the team's wide receiver 2. He was second in target share, had 2 of their 3 receiving touchdowns on the year. And so it's going to hurt for them to lose him in this passing game. But with Dillon Gabriel making his first NFL start this week, I think we're going to see a concentrated target share, which is actually a good thing for fantasy football. And I think we'll see a lot of Keyshawn Judkins, again, definitely locking him into your lineups. But the real question is, who is Dillon Gabriel's binky? I think there's a good chance that we see a bump for both of the team's tight ends this week, but I am targeting Jerry Jeudy to benefit the most from this injury to Cedric Tillman and potentially be a guy that sees 10 to 12 targets going forward as long as Tillman is out. Before we get into the last guy on the video, I just want to take a moment and thank our friends over at Underdog. If you haven't already, when you sign up using the code Headliners, you get a chance at some awesome bonus cash opportunities. They're running all sorts of deals throughout the season. You can win some money even if you have gone 0-4, even if you've lost Malik Neighbors and Tyreek Hill off of your fantasy squad this week. You can still make some money playing fantasy football this year, and you should do it over at Underdog. If you haven't already signed up, make sure that when you do, you use the code Headliners so that they know that we sent you. And again, make sure you're playing on Underdog with the Fantasy Headliners this year. And finally, let's talk about the Cardinals running back situation. Trey Benson, leaving the game with a meniscus tear, already has had surgery and has been placed on the IR with what they're calling a 4 to 6 week recovery. Now, the Cardinals have managed to lose 2 starting running backs in as many weeks, with James Conner also being done for the year with his ankle injury from week 3. And Benson being on IR is kind of a bummer because the team doesn't have a lot left at the running back position. It's pretty safe to wonder if they might not even be in the trade market for some running back depth at this point. There's no real rumblings of a trade right now, but the trade deadline is right around the corner. There are some teams with 3 or 4 running backs that just aren't getting used. I think of guys like Sean Tucker. I think he could be someone that people are targeting aggressively. And I also think that you got like the Isaac Guerindos of the world. If you're looking for an upgrade of some sort, I wouldn't be surprised if those are names you start to see circulated on the trade market for the Cardinals specifically. But as of right now, the team is planning on rolling out Michael Carter and Emari DeMercado for the next 6 weeks. And if you can't tell by the way I'm talking, not really interested in either of them for fantasy. I don't think that you can go wrong with just avoiding this situation altogether. But if you're like, no, I absolutely need a Cardinals running back, DeMercado has gotten more work thus far, but I'm just going to throw Zonovan Bam Knight in there as like a deep stash in Dynasty. Maybe you've got an IR spot that has opened up a spot on your bench and you're looking at a pretty depleted waiver wire in Dynasty. Bam Knight might be out there, might be worth picking up. He's got some outside potential to maybe take over this backfield for the next month or so. But again, kind of avoiding the whole situation. All right, guys, that's all I got for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As I talked about a few weeks ago, a lot of things are happening in my personal life, so I'm not going to do as many videos this year, but you'll see me around. If you caught the live stream last week, I've been filling in. I've been trying to be as present as possible. The best way to get all of the great injury information is to watch every single one of our videos here at the Fantasy Headliners. I'm still around. I'm still giving information to Jake and Kyle while they do their videos so that the rankings are updated appropriately and you're getting the best up-to-date information that you can get. But if you're like, man, no, I want the doc in my life more often, maybe consider hitting the join button. Become an exclusive member of Headliner Nation. You'll get injury updates from me every single day of the week and all of the injury news that you need in one place on Sunday morning before you set your lineup. So again, hit the join button, become a member of Headliner Nation today. That's all I got for you, and we will see you next time.